Well, joining me now is Democratic Tennessee Representative, retired U.S. Marine and Desert Storm veteran Antonio Parkinson. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for your service.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I don't think most people know this about you, but the military brought you to the Bluff City.
It was the military that brought me to the Bluff City. A lot of people don't realize also that I initially enlisted in the Air Force. My Air Force recruiter died in a car accident before I was supposed to leave. It threw everything off, and the Marine Corps recruiter saved the day and got me enlisted and signed up within a week and a half. And I went in with an open contract, and that open contract brought me to Millington, Tennessee for air traffic control school and for firefighting school. That's how I ended up in Memphis. That's why I'm here today.
Yes, and you know, most people know the Marine Corps, right? From a couple of famous things. One, guarding, actually, Camp David for the president, and also for the helicopters, Marine 1 and Marine 2. Tell us more about the Marine Corps.
Well, the Marine Corps is where your elite fighting machine is, and that's why we're guarding the president. That's why we're guarding Marine 1, and that's why they send us in. They send the Marine Corps in to do the hard work, not discounting anything that any other branch of the service does, because they all play a role. But I am proud to say I am a Marine, and you know, once a Marine, you're always a Marine.
Absolutely. You know, you also served during Operation Desert Storm, which was January, February 1991. Tell me about your service.
Right, and it's so funny because I was actually out. I had actually gotten out of the Marine Corps in 1990, and a few months later, my uncle got a letter in the mail, and he signed me away back in. And,
wow.
And so I was in active reserve at the time, and they had the inactive reserves to go in, and we were backfilling for the individuals that had left and went over to being active in Desert Storm, and we were on our way, and then the conflict was over with, and so I didn't actually get a chance to actually be on the field, you know, in the fighting, but we were prepared to go, and they did have us on standby to go for Desert Storm.
We have a photograph of you when you were serving. If we could we put that up? I want people to see that young Antonio there. You know, General A.M. Gray said that every Marine is first and foremost a rifleman, and all other conditions are secondary, rather. And then General John Pershing said that the deadliest weapon in the world is a Marine and his rifle. You know, given those two statements, with you serving and with you knowing how to handle a gun, what's your gun stance today in this political environment?
I am definitely a pro-gun Democrat. And I believe everyone should have the right to bear arms. I just believe we need sensible gun legislation for those individuals that should not be in possession of firearm.
We know the military brought you here, right?
Right.
We know that you were also a firefighter.
Right.
Did that training of protecting people while you were in the military lead to the different legislation that you've passed in Nashville, sponsored and passed?
Well, it does. You know, when you're in the Marine Corps or any branch of the armed services, you know, you get a very wide perspective of life and people, and you deal with a lot of diversity, and you learn a lot from that. And I'll be honest with you, you know, in the Marine Corps, going through Marine Corps boot camp, I was 17 years old when I went in. I turned 18 in boot camp, and that's actually where the nickname Touche came from. And you know, I learned a lot, and that's where my manhood took on its form.
Well, let me thank you for your service. And to the Marine Corps, we thank all of those men who have served for us, as well as every other branch of the military. Richard, we're going to send it over to you now.